But we start first with the battle to be crowned Eircom League Premier Division champions. Shelbourne only needed to pick up a point away to St Pat's, while Cork City needed to beat Bohemians and hope that Pats could do them a favour. For Shells, the objective was simple: avoid defeat in Friday night's Dublin derby against St Pat's, and the second successive league title was assured. There were plenty of subplots to the game. Former St Pat's manager Eamon Collins was now the number 2 at Shells. Current Pats manager John McDonnell started the season as assistant to Pat Fenlon at Talca Park. Shells were also determined to make amends for some final day disappointments of the past. Just 6 minutes in and Shells had a real shout for a penalty when Ollie Cahill went down following the challenge from Pats captain Colin Foley. On second look, Pats appeared to be a little fortunate. Shells midfielder Alan Moore tried his luck from long range. Pats keeper Brendan Clark made a comfortable save. Pat's first opportunity came courtesy of a free kick in a dangerous position from Desi Byrne, but he was unable to test Steve Williams in the Shells goal. On the quarter hour, Shells did have the ball in the net, but the goal was ruled out. Clark had dropped the cross from David Crawley, allowing Jason Byrne to find the net, but Byrne was deemed guilty of a push on Darren Maguire.
11 games unbeaten, Cork City needed one final push on Friday night and they would seek victory over Bohemians, buoyed on by a partisan home support. Turner's Cross sold out, a seething atmosphere for the final showdown. The week's headlines had been dominated by the hosts and Shelbourne, but before kick-off something of a bombshell dropped. Colin Hawkins, Bobby Ryan and Glenn Crowe all in the stand as word filtered through that all three had signed for Shelbourne, an extra dimension added to an already tense occasion. Pat Dolan's side knew that, unable to affect the outcome at Richmond Park, the only issue was their own 90 minutes, and they started well, exerting the early pressure. Bohemians, however, held firm, and they went on to take a controversial lead after just 6 minutes. James Keddy's ball forward was pursued by Tony Grant. Michael Devine raced from his line, and after both had ended up on the deck, referee Ian Stokes pointed to the penalty spot. The home players were incensed by the decision, and on closer inspection they had every right to be. Devine clearly playing the ball first. When the dust settled, it was left to Kevin Hunt to convert. Devine, however, pulled off a superb save low to his left, but Stephen Caffrey was first to react. Bohemians 1 up.
Shells were continuing to create the better chances as the half wore on. Glenn Fitzpatrick had a shot which tested Clark. Stephen Quigley blocked the follow-up from Jason Byrne. Wes Houlihan's pass found Ollie Cahill on the edge of the box, but with Glenn Fitzpatrick and Jason Byrne well placed, the cross drifted over. Shells fullback David Crawley hit the target from a free kick late in the half. Again, Clark made the save. And in first half injury time, Keith Fahey sent in the free kick. Colin Foley was unable to make decent contact, and Williams collected.
Clear-cut chances were proving hard to come by at Turner's Cross. Ken O'Man cut out John O'Flynn's cross with Kevin Doyle lurking. And midway through the half, Tony Grant succumbed to the knock suffered in the early collision with Devine. He was replaced by David Bracken, who wasted little time in getting involved, receiving a yellow card within a minute of his introduction for a foul on Neil Horgan. And soon after that, from a quickly taken free kick, Bracken rose unmarked, but from almost point-blank range he headed straight at Michael Devine. At the other end, after being picked out by Colin O'Brien, Billy Woods had his effort saved by the legs of Matt Gregg. And on the call of half-time, 2 more refereeing decisions the hosts weren't enamoured with in the space of 30 seconds. Firstly, O'Brien went to ground under the challenge of Caffrey. And then from an O'Flynn cross, further appeals for a spot kick for handball by Ken O'Man. Ian Stokes not convinced by either of the appeals. The half-time whistle was to sound soon after. Cork City players and management let their feelings be known.
Shells continued to hold the upper hand early in the second half. David Crawley's cross from the left was met by the head of Alan Moore. The same 2 players combined again soon after. Again, Moore's header was off target. Just before the hour from Ollie Cahill's cross, Jason Byrne got up well, but couldn't keep the header on target. By now, Shells were well on top. Captain Owen Heary clipped the bar from David Crawley's corner.
Cork came out with extra endeavour in the second half. Firstly, O'Flynn pounced on a poor ball from Oman, but blazed over from distance. And then 9 minutes in, Kevin Doyle somehow saw his header kept out by a combination of Greg and his left-hand post. As time ticked away and Gareth Farrelly's side turned in a disciplined defensive effort, it looked like there would be no way through for Cork. And that feeling intensified when Liam Carney somehow failed to hit the target here from 6 yards.
Pats created little in the second half, but a clever backheel from Keith Dunn almost allowed Aidan O'Keefe in, but he was quickly crowded out by Crawley, Harris and Crawford. A long pass upfield from Wes Houlihan picked out Jason Byrne. He rounded Brendan Clark, and only a great block from Colm Foley prevented goal number 26 of the season for the league's leading goal scorer. But it was to be of no consequence, as soon after referee Paul McKeown blew the full-time whistle and the Shell celebrations began. For the first time, the club has successfully defended the league title.
10 minutes from time, a Turner's cross and a glimmer of hope. Danny Murphy fed Billy Woods, who cut inside before drilling past Greg at his near post. Cork had broken through. The roar was deafening, the smell of victory in the nostrils. The advantage had swung completely when Bracken was off a minute later, receiving a second yellow for a needless lunge on Murphy. In the Bohemians' protest that followed, player-manager Farrelly was dismissed from the dugout. But try as they might, Cork couldn't find a winner. 1-1 the final score, leaving the manager to reflect on a courageous late title bid.
Yeah, showed tremendous spirit tonight. We played really, really well. We very much like to look at the refereeing decision early on. But I congratulate Shelbourne Football Club. It's a great achievement to win a league title back-to-back, so it's their night tonight. Ultimately, whatever we did here tonight, it wasn't going to matter because, Shell's got the point they needed. But, 3 points in it, our goal difference would have been better. Tremendous effort, my lads. I'd like to thank them. And you can see, the crowd here tonight, not a seat to be got for. This is what the league's about. And, it's a very good night for the league. Very, very good night for the league. And as I said, all I can do is congratulate Shelbourne. Second place. It's a decent effort, but, you want to be the best.
And so for the second season in a row, Owen Heary had the honour of lifting the Eircom League Premier Division trophy. 36 games played for Shells, 19 victories, 11 draws and 6 defeats. In the end, a 3-point winning margin over Cork City.
It's about the players behind me. What they've achieved this season has been fantastic. And you're a little bit coy earlier on the season to be celebrating what we did in Europe. We wanted success. That's what the club is about, and we've achieved that tonight.
And you pretty much led from start to finish.
We have, and it's been very difficult. It's been a long, hard season. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in football, whether it be playing or managing. It's all credit to them, the amount of effort they put in.
Just compared to this year to last year, obviously you felt it was a lot harder to defend.
Oh yeah, it's much harder. I think that's proven by the amount of teams that have done back-to-back league titles. It's very difficult just to win it. But when you throw in on top what we've done in Europe this year, well then it's a fantastic achievement.
Cork have been on a brilliant run, 12 games. Last 12 games have been brilliant, but this league is over 36 games, and we proved over the 36 that we are the better team. So, I think we deserve to win the league.
Do you feel this current Shelbourne team is stronger than the one which won it last year?
Yeah, I think so. We probably didn't show come the end of the season, but I think that's a lot to do with the fatigue factor. And we probably got complacent that we were so far ahead. But we've achieved what we set out at the start of the season to do, and that was to win the league. So that was our main goal, and we've done that now. So now we'll hopefully build on next year and go and do it again.
And it's quite an achievement, as we've seen in the past. Not too many teams managed to defend the league successfully.
Yeah, we were there ourselves, once, and we lost it last day of the season. And it is tough, as we found out. But Pats have done it now, ourselves have done it. So hopefully, you can only do 3 in a row now. We do 2 in a row, and that's what we've done. So hopefully next year we can go on and achieve the 3 in a row.
The last few weeks, have they been been difficult because a lot of people have been talking about the charge that Cork have been on, but of course it's won over 36 games, not just the final third of the season.
Yeah, this is it. Like people are talking about bottlers and all that, but we knew it well capable. You know, you saw the players in there, absolutely fantastic. Every one of them, quality players at the club, and we always knew we'd do it. We didn't panic at all. No, we had a bit of a blip against Longford, but we bounced back against Wharf last week and just showed today that we dug out the results when we needed them.
So that is the story of how the title was won after the break. Noel and Damien will be giving us their views on the season.